CollectAWrestlePalooza. CollectAWrestlePalooza.
Hello, wrestling fans, sports collectors. This is Tom from CollectAWrestlePalooza. So Hulk Hogan is back in the mainstream. He just gave this big speech at the Republican National Convention. He has a new line of adult beverages. People are talking about Hulk Hogan again. And love him or hate him, Hulkamania lives on. He runs wild and he's back on top. So I thought it would be a good time to do a top 5 list of Hulk Hogan prices paid for wrestling memorabilia. Reason being that this one focuses on prices paid in the month of June, and it'll be interesting to see in July and August if prices go up from where they are now. If you want to know the criteria for how I do these top 5 videos, go back in the archives. I explain it in other top 5 videos, but I'm going to get right to it this week. Coming in at number 5 is a 1980 Major League Wrestling program, a CGC 9.8, sold at auction for $532. If you're a wrestling card fan, you're going to immediately know what's special about this program. Look at the pictures. Do you recognize them? Of course, they're the same pictures that are used in the 1982 Wrestling All-Star sports cards, which are the most sought-after wrestling cards in the hobby. This is the official souvenir program published by the Wrestling News, and if you look at the pictures of Hogan and Andre and imagine them cropped around their faces, you'll see that it's the same images as the Wrestling All-Star sports cards. Now this is Andre the Giant versus the fabulous Hulk Hogan. You can see it was billed as the undefeated super heavyweights meeting. That storyline was repeated in the WWF when they said Andre the Giant was undefeated when he was going after Hulk Hogan, but I think in this case, Andre the Giant would have been the face and Hulk Hogan the heel. If you do know that, leave some comments and let me know. I'm also surprised to see Andre the Giant with the belt because I didn't know that he held any major heavyweight titles in his career. Again, if you know the history of what these wrestlers represented at this point in their careers, leave some comments and let us know. This is from the Pittsburgh Civic Arena, its official program from Friday, August 15th in 1980, and the price was $1. 9.8, I believe, is a very high grade for a program. I'm imagining 10 would be perfect, so this one probably looks like it had never been opened. Speaking of Wrestlemania 3, coming in at number 4, a 1987 Wrestlemania 3 ticket stub, graded by Beckett as a 5, sold at auction for $710. Everyone knows what happened at Wrestlemania 3, the body slam heard around the world when Hulk Hogan took his 24-inch pythons, scooped up Andre the Giant, took him off his feet and slammed him on the back, did the big leg drop and pinned him 1, 2, 3 to retain the heavyweight championship at the Pontiac Silverdome in front of the largest indoor crowd of all time. Now, back in the day, you'd actually get a hard ticket to get into these events. Now you just use your smartphone and you have a QR code, but back then you'd actually have a ticket stub to keep as a memorabilia after you attended a big event. And you'd always hope that the person who was ripping the ticket didn't damage it too much. That was the way that they could tell that you couldn't get back in, is they'd rip your ticket in half so you couldn't reuse it or hand it to someone else to get into the event after you. So you'd keep the ticket stub, you'd have it in your pocket, you'd hope it wouldn't get too sweaty or creased. So I'm guessing that a 5 is a fine grade. I don't imagine how you would keep your ticket stub really pristine if you're standing there watching the event, jumping around, sitting on it, that type of thing. This one does look like it has some creases in the corner, but it looks pretty flat, looks like it's in pretty good shape. And more than anything, it's the nostalgia of the event and a nostalgia of the time when people did use tickets to get into these big events. Love seeing this on the top 5, love seeing it sell for $710. Coming in at number 3 is my favorite Hulk Hogan wrestling card, the 1985 Topps. This one's a PSA 9 with an auto-graded 10 and sold for $1,025. The reason I love this card is it is from the most important stage of Hulk Hogan's career and arguably the most important stage in WWF wrestling. It's the first hack-pulled licensed WWF trading card to feature Hulk Hogan. He's holding the belt. He just won it from the Iron Sheik. And look at his face. That is genuine, vulnerable happiness. This is a man who's getting ready to conquer the world, who's grinning, and you just don't see Hogan looking like that anymore. He's got a facade now, and he just doesn't have that natural, grin that he had back in the day and on this wrestling card. My favorite is card number 1, which is the yellow back. This is the blue back, card number 16, which is a little less sought after, but a PSA 9 of this card from 1985. You don't see him graded that high very often. And then a 10 auto. The auto itself is placed nicely. It doesn't distract from the card. Just a really nice looking piece of Hulk Hogan memorabilia, which is why it sold for $1,025. Coming in at number 2 is a controversial Hulk Hogan card. This is the 2013 Upper Deck PMG Employee Exclusive, which sold for $1,803. $1,803 for this card is probably a steal. I heard about this card getting 5 figures or so back in the day for grades around 7, 8, maybe it was a 9, but I don't think it was much nicer than this card. And this one only sold for under $2,000. Now, this is a rare card. It was only distributed to employees of Upper Deck, and it is a precious metal gem, and it's just a really good looking card. That purple background is really sharp, and just the contrast of it against Hogan's tan skin, the really light, almost white hair, the red trunks, this card really pops. Like I said, because of the rarity and the fact that it's a goat, which is why it has always commanded a premium. Now, more recently, this card has been selling for not much. And when I say not much, I mean $2,000 is a lot of money, but compared to, 8, 9, 10 grand, $2,000 isn't much at all. And I think one of the reasons for that is this will always be a controversial card. Just look at the image of Hogan. I mean, he looks old. That punch looks like it's got no power. He's not chiseled. He's wearing this weight belt and the buckle's kind of off to the side. And it just doesn't look like a man who's ready to conquer the world. This is a vulnerable, older man and depicted in this picture. So I think that people are always going to wonder whether this card merits the prices, which means in a soft market, it's not going to command the high prices. In a really hot market, it's going to get some high figures again, but right now it's softer, and that's why it only sold for $1,803. I love this card. I think it's a really, really good looking Hulk Hogan card, and I just think the stories behind it and the, uniqueness of it make it valuable, but I can see why it's softened in value recently. It'll be interesting to see if this card rockets back up in price now that Hulk Hogan's back in the mainstream. And coming in at number 1, of course, the 1982 Hulk Hogan Wrestling All-Stars. This one's a BGS 8 with an 8 auto and sold for $3,900. Now, this card is the Hulk Hogan card to own. The hobby has gravitated towards it as his rookie. It isn't really his rookie because there are some Japanese cards that came out before this one, but similar to the 1986 Fleer Jordan, this is the Hulk Hogan card everyone has accepted as his rookie, and it's the one that everyone wants. Now, this one does have an autograph. The autograph is placed pretty nicely. It doesn't really distract from the card, so I like that. However, it is only an 8 grade for the auto. I don't know if that matters, and I don't know why this is only an 8. The autograph looks pretty crisp, as does the card itself. I do like the yellow border of this. I do think that the yellow is a precursor to Hulkamania, and when he took on yellow as part of his personality and part of his logo, Hulk Hogan is synonymous with the color yellow, championships and all that stuff. So all that's in this card. An 8 is a really good grade. This is just a trademark commodity card in the hobby, which is why it sold for $3,900. And that does it this week. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this Hulk Hogan top 5 prices paid in the month of June countdown. Like I said, it'll be interesting to see where prices go from here now that Hulk Hogan's brand is popping again. Stay tuned to this channel. I'll do another top 5 of Hulk Hogan in a month or two. But in the meantime, stay good to each other. Have fun with this. Happy collecting. And we'll see you again soon.
CollectAWrestlePalooza, CollectAWrestlePalooza.